Jake was a renowned rancher, known throughout the valley for his sprawling lands and impressive herd of cattle. Each morning, he rose with the sun, the golden ray spilling over the hills as he tended to his animals. With his weathered hands, he worked hard, loving every minute spent under the open sky. The ranch had been in his family for generations, and Jake took pride in maintaining its legacy. Despite his achievements, there was a constant pressure hanging over him like dark clouds on a sunny day. His parents, eager to see their son settle down, often reminded him of the importance of carrying on the family name. They believed that marrying into a wealthy family would strengthen their ties and secure their future. It wasn't long before the idea of an arranged marriage began to circulate. Jake felt trapped between duty and desire. While he understood his parents' intentions, he often daydreamed about finding love in his own way, not through an arrangement but through genuine connection. However, it seemed the choice had already been made for him. As the weeks passed, Jake could feel the weight of expectation pressing down on him. He admired the land he called home and the life he had built with hard work, but his heart longed for more than just responsibility. With every glance at his rolling fields and each cow that grazed peacefully, he couldn't shake off the creeping sense of unease about what lay ahead. Would he ever have the chance to choose his own path? The weight of his parents' wishes settled heavily on Jake's shoulders as the arranged marriage agreement took shape. Clara, a wealthy heiress from a prominent family in the city, was the chosen bride. Her family had significant influence and connections that could benefit the ranch, and Jake's parents believed this union would ensure their legacy remained strong. Though he understood their reasoning, Jake couldn't help but feel a knot of unease in his stomach. He had met Clara briefly during a gathering at a local charity event. She was polished and elegant, but there was something about her that felt distant. Conversations with her felt more like formalities than genuine interactions. He worried whether they could ever share the deep bond he envisioned for his future. As the days passed, the reality of the impending marriage began to sink in. His mother excitedly planned every detail of the wedding, relishing the thought of having a daughter-in-law who came from such wealth and prestige. Jake watched her enthusiasm with mixed emotions. Part of him wanted to appease his mother's dreams, while another part longed for a different kind of love, one built on understanding and connection. Jake often found himself gazing out at his ranch, wishing he could find someone who truly understood him. The thought of giving up his autonomy haunted him. Was he destined to walk down an aisle with someone he barely knew? The more he pondered this arrangement, the more conflicted he became about fulfilling his duty while yearning for something real in his life. The day finally arrived for Jake to meet Clara, and nerves fluttered in his stomach like a flock of startled birds. He arrived at the elegant venue where they would gather, a beautiful garden filled with blooming flowers and soft music playing in the background. As he stepped onto the path, he spotted Clara standing gracefully beside a fountain. She was dressed in a lovely blue gown that complemented her refined demeanor. Clara turned to face him, her eyes sparkling with charm. "Hello, Jake," she greeted with a polite smile that felt rehearsed rather than genuine. Jake couldn't help but admire her beauty. She appeared sophisticated and confident, but there was an air of formality that made him uneasy. Their handshake felt stiff, almost like two strangers meeting for the first time instead of two people destined to be wed. As they conversed, Clara spoke eloquently about her family's interests and the event she attended in the city. Her words flowed smoothly, but Jake sensed a wall between them. While she was articulate and pleasant, he found it hard to connect beyond surface-level conversation. Each laugh and smile from her felt like part of a performance rather than a genuine exchange. Jake's heart raced as he realized how different they were. The more Clara spoke about her life filled with lavish parties and high society expectations, the more he felt out of place. Was this what his future held? The thought made him increasingly uncomfortable, confirming his doubts about the arranged marriage looming ahead. For all her charm, Jake knew deep down that something essential was missing between them, a true connection that felt ever so far from reach. Just when Jake was settling into the idea of his arranged marriage with Clara, an unexpected twist occurred. One sunny afternoon, as he was working on the ranch, he heard laughter floating through the air. Curious, he followed the sound, and there, standing at the entrance of the ranch, was a girl who looked strikingly similar to Clara but with a vibrant energy that seemed to light up the space around her. "Hi there," "I'm Lily," she exclaimed with a wide grin, her bright green dress swaying as she moved. Unlike her sister, Lily radiated a playful spirit that immediately drew Jake in. She had an infectious enthusiasm that made him smile, and for a moment, the weight of his responsibilities felt lighter. As they chatted, Jake learned that Lily had come to visit while attending a local art festival. She was spontaneous and full of life, sharing stories of her adventures and laughter over silly things that had happened to her in the city. Jake found himself captivated by her carefree nature, which starkly contrasted with Clara's serious demeanor. Over the next few days, Lily explored the ranch, encouraging Jake to join her in activities like riding horses and even trying his hand at painting one afternoon. With each moment spent together, Jake felt more alive and at ease. Lily's playful energy opened his heart, making him question everything he believed about his future. As he watched her twirl in the sunset, he realized that perhaps there was more to love than he had ever imagined, something real and joyful that he had been longing for all along. As the days passed, Jake found himself increasingly drawn to Lily's lively personality. She had a way of making even the simplest activities feel like grand adventures. One sunny afternoon, she suggested they try horseback riding together. With laughter echoing around them, they galloped across the open fields, the wind whipping through their hair. Jake hadn't felt so free in years, and for the first time, he realized how much he missed moments of pure joy. Later that evening, while sitting on the porch as the sun dipped below the horizon, Lily pulled out her paints and started to create a colorful sunset. She encouraged Jake to paint alongside her, nudging him to let go of his doubts and just have fun. As they mixed colors and shared playful banter, Jake found himself laughing more than he had in ages. When Lily accidentally splattered paint on his shirt, they both burst into giggles, turning what could have been an embarrassing moment into another cherished memory. Each encounter revealed another layer of Lily's vibrant spirit, and they spent hours talking about their dreams. Jake discovered that she loved art and adventure just as much as he loved the ranch. There was a special spark of understanding between them that he had never experienced before. In those moments of laughter and connection, Jake began to see a path that felt richer than anything his parents had planned for him. With each passing day, he felt more alive, caught in a whirlwind of emotions he hadn't anticipated. Their bond flourished effortlessly, leaving him both hopeful and confused about what might lie ahead. As Jake and Lily's friendship blossomed, Clara began to notice the change. During a family dinner, she observed how Jake's laughter rang out more freely whenever Lily was around. Each time he shared a story or a joke with her sister, Clara felt a pang of jealousy twist inside her. It was a feeling she hadn't expected to experience, especially since she had always been confident in her place within their arrangement. Clara's polite smile masked her growing concern. While she tried to maintain her composure, she couldn't shake the feeling that she was losing Jake's attention. She watched as Lily effortlessly captured his interest with her playful spirit and spontaneous ideas, all the while feeling like a shadow in the background. The contrast between them became increasingly apparent. Where Clara was serious and composed, Lily was vibrant and free-spirited. One afternoon, Clara decided to confront Jake about his time with Lily. As they strolled through the garden, she casually mentioned how much fun she thought they were having. "It seems like you two are getting quite close," she remarked, trying to keep her tone light but failing to hide the edge of insecurity in her voice. Jake looked at her, sensing the underlying tension. "She just brings out a different side of me," he admitted softly. Clara's heart sank as she heard his words. Deep down, she feared that Jake's connection with Lily would overshadow the bond she hoped to build with him. Determined not to lose him, Clara resolved to find a way to win back his affection before it was too late. One warm afternoon, as the sun began to dip low in the sky, Jake and Lily decided to meet at a secluded spot on the ranch, a hidden grove surrounded by towering trees and vibrant wildflowers. The air was thick with the scent of blooming blossoms, and the gentle rustle of leaves created a serene backdrop for their secret rendezvous. They spread a blanket on the soft grass, eager to escape the expectations that loomed around them. Sitting together, they began to share their dreams. Lily's eyes sparkled as she spoke about her passion for art and her desire to travel the world, capturing its beauty on canvas. "I want to explore places that inspire me," she said, her voice filled with excitement. Jake listened intently, feeling a warmth spread through him as he realized how their hopes intertwined. In turn, Jake opened up about his own ambitions and the weight of family expectations pressing down on him. "Sometimes, I feel like I'm living for everyone else," he admitted quietly, his gaze fixed on the ground. "I love this ranch, but I also wonder if there's more out there for me." Lily reached out and squeezed his hand gently. "You deserve to find your own happiness," she encouraged, her voice filled with sincerity. In that moment, something shifted between them, a deeper understanding began to blossom. They both felt an unspoken bond growing stronger, revealing fears and dreams they had seldom shared with anyone else. As they leaned closer under the shade of the trees, Jake realized how deeply he had connected with Lily, igniting a spark of hope in his heart for a future that felt bright and promising. As Jake navigated his growing feelings for Lily, he found himself in a whirlwind of emotions. Each moment spent with her felt like a breath of fresh air, lifting the weight of expectation off his shoulders. Yet, he couldn't shake the reality that he was still engaged to Clara. The two sisters were so different. Clara represented duty and tradition, while Lily embodied freedom and joy. Jake often sat alone on the porch at night, staring out at the stars as he wrestled with his thoughts. Clara had been raised with expectations that matched his own. They understood each other's family obligations. He felt a sense of responsibility towards her, especially since their marriage had been arranged by their families. But every time he remembered Lily's laughter or her expressive eyes, Jake felt an undeniable pull toward her vibrant spirit. He began to question whether it was fair to Clara to proceed with their marriage when his heart was clearly drawn elsewhere. The guilt weighed heavily on him, yet he couldn't deny how alive he felt when he was with Lily. She had opened up new horizons for him, adventures and dreams that felt real and attainable. Jake's internal struggle grew more intense as the wedding date approached. He would catch himself daydreaming about running away with Lily, exploring the world together, but just as quickly, visions of disappointing Clara would crash into those thoughts. Torn between two sisters who both held a piece of his heart, Jake faced an impossible choice: fulfill his duty or follow his heart into uncharted territory. As the wedding day approached, tension hung in the air like a storm cloud ready to burst. Preparations were in full swing, and Clara's family poured their energy into planning a grand ceremony that would impress the entire community. The sounds of bustling activity filled the ranch. Florists delivered vibrant bouquets, caterers sampled dishes, and family members decorated the venue with shimmering lights. Jake felt trapped amid all the excitement. While everyone else was caught up in the festivities, he could hardly focus on anything beyond his growing anxiety. The closer the date came, the more he found himself retreating to quiet corners of the ranch, staring out at the fields where he once felt free. Each time Clara spoke about her vision for the wedding, he felt a lump in his throat. Her enthusiasm only highlighted his own uncertainty. He couldn't help but imagine Lily's playful laughter and how different their lives could be if they were together instead. Was it too late to change everything? Conversations with family about marriage responsibilities echoed in his mind, making him feel even more suffocated by obligation. As Clara's excitement mounted, Jake's heart sank further. He wore a smile for her benefit, but inside, he was churning with fear and regret. Friends and family continued to reassure him that this was what he should want, but deep down, Jake questioned if he would ever truly belong to anyone while living under these expectations. With the wedding just days away, Jake knew he had to confront his feelings head-on before it was too late. The looming nuptials became a critical turning point in his life, a moment that would determine not just his future but also where his heart truly belonged. On the eve of the wedding, Jake felt a mix of anxiety and resolve as he sought out Lily in their special grove. The moonlight filtered through the trees, creating a soft glow that set the scene for what would be one of the most important conversations of his life. He found her sitting on the blanket they had shared before, painting brush strokes with glowing colors under the night sky. "Lily," he started, his heart racing. "I need to talk to you." She looked up, her eyes sparkling with curiosity and concern. For a moment, time seemed to stand still as Jake struggled to find the right words. He could see the emotion reflected in her expression, a blend of hope and apprehension. "I can't go through with this wedding," he finally confessed, feeling a surge of honesty wash over him. "My heart isn't in it. It belongs with you." Lily's breath caught in her throat, and she sat up straighter, tears welling in her eyes. Jake, I've been feeling the same way but didn't want to ruin everything. The weight of their unspoken feelings hung heavily around them as they shared their turmoil. I care about Clara, Jake admitted, his voice trembling slightly. But when I'm with you, I feel alive in ways I never knew were possible. A mixture of relief and fear washed over them both. They had finally said what was really in their hearts. As they leaned closer together under the stars, emotion swirled between them, fear of what tomorrow might hold and excitement for a future that felt uncertain yet thrilling. They realized this confession changed everything. No matter the path ahead, they would always share this moment, a turning point filled with possibility and connection that neither could ignore. Unbeknownst to Jake and Lily, Clara had quietly approached the grove, hoping to find Jake and surprise him before the wedding. As she drew closer, she overheard their heartfelt conversation beneath the stars. Her heart sank painfully as she listened to Jake's confession of love for Lily, realizing the depth of their feelings for each other. Each word pierced her with a sense of betrayal that felt unbearable. Feeling as if the ground had shifted beneath her feet, Clara stepped forward, her voice shaky yet firm. Well, isn't this a lovely secret? She confronted them, her eyes shimmering with anger and hurt. Jake looked startled, caught between guilt and sorrow. Lily's expression shifted from surprise to concern as they both faced Clara. Clara, Jake began, but Clara cut him off. You don't have to say anything, she snapped, her voice tight with emotion. I overheard everything. Clara's eyes glistened as she turned to Lily. I thought this was some kind of sisterly bond, she said bitterly. But clearly, you had other intentions. The accusation hung in the air, making it even more difficult for Lily to defend herself. Clara, it's not what you think. Jake pleaded, stepping forward as if to reach out to her. But Clara stepped back, hurt flashing across her face. She felt betrayed not only by Jake but also by her sister, someone she had trusted. I thought you cared about our future, Clara said to Jake, pain lacing her words. But it seems your heart is already gone. In that moment, a rift formed among them, one that would alter their lives forever. Clara turned away, leaving Jake and Lily standing amid the shadows, together yet alone in their conflicting emotions as the reality of their choices crashed down around them. As dawn broke on the day of the wedding, Jake found himself standing alone in his room, heart racing as he faced the impending choice that would shape his future. The weight of family legacy pressed on him like an anchor, yet thoughts of Lily tugged at his spirit. He felt a profound certainty that pursuing a life with her would bring true happiness, but he couldn't shake the strong sense of duty he owed Clara and their families. Across the hall, Clara was wrestling with her own feelings. Her mind raced with images of Jake's confession and the moments they had shared before everything changed. Deep down, she knew she had to confront the truth. She wanted a marriage built on love, not obligation. But could she forgive Jake for his feelings toward Lily? And how could she face her family if things fell apart? Meanwhile, Lily sat quietly in the grove where they had shared so many dreams and secrets. She felt conflicted about her own desires. Although she longed to be with Jake and embrace an adventurous life together, she feared what it would mean for Clara and their sisterly bond. The guilt weighed heavily on her heart. As the ceremony drew closer, Jake made a decision. He would find a way to speak to Clara one last time before saying his vows. It was crucial to tell her how he truly felt about both sisters and make it clear that a marriage without love was not something he could accept. With each moment ticking away, tension soared high as all three characters faced their choices, setting in motion a series of events that would lead them down unforeseen paths filled with hope, heartache, and new beginnings. After a long night of soul-searching, Jake found the courage to confront Clara in the early morning light. They met in the garden where their relationship had first taken shape. Clara, he began, his voice steady but gentle, I can't go through with this wedding. Not when my heart belongs to Lily. Clara's eyes widened, but instead of anger, she felt a wave of understanding wash over her. I knew something was off, she admitted quietly, a mixture of sorrow and relief in her expression. I wanted us to build a life together, but it has to be built on love, not obligation. Meanwhile, Lily stood near the grove where they had shared so many dreams. She could hear their conversation and felt both anxious and hopeful as she waited for Jake's decision. Would he choose her? When he finally approached her, she saw determination in his eyes. "Lily," Jake said softly, taking her hands in his. "I want to explore this feeling between us fully. I choose you." Tears sprang to her eyes, but this time they were tears of joy. Meanwhile, Clara stepped away from them both with grace. It was painful but oddly liberating at the same time. She realized that while love may not have bloomed between them as expected, she could now pursue her own happiness without the confines of obligation. As Jake and Lily embraced under the warming sun, Clara began to walk down her own path, one filled with potential for self-discovery. The three of them had faced their feelings head-on and made choices that reflected their true desires. In that moment of resolution, they understood that pursuing one's heart could lead them all toward a brighter future defined by love and authenticity. As the sun set on a new chapter in their lives, each character took a moment to reflect on the journey they had traversed. Jake felt an overwhelming sense of liberation. By choosing love over obligation, he had broken free from the chains of expectation. He now understood that true happiness comes from being authentic and following one's heart, a lesson that would guide him as he built his future with Lily. Lily, too, found clarity in her heart. She had faced her fears and desires head-on, realizing that love could flourish without compromising her sisterly bond. Embracing this new relationship with Jake allowed her to be adventurous and spontaneous, qualities she had longed to express without guilt. She learned that pursuing what made her truly happy could coexist with supporting her sister's journey toward self-discovery. Clara's path revealed the profound strength she possessed. Though initially overwhelmed by feelings of betrayal, she found solace in accepting the situation for what it was. Clara recognized that love cannot be forced, it must arise naturally and freely. With newfound determination, she resolved to focus on her own dreams and aspirations, no longer taking a backseat to family expectations. As they moved forward, Jake and Lily hand in hand toward a bright future and Clara stepping into her own independence, their experiences intertwined like roots of a tree. They all realized that love is not merely about connection but also about honesty, choice, and the courage to be true to oneself. Each had grown through heartache and joy, fostering not only personal growth but an unbreakable bond of understanding that would forever change how they viewed love and relationships.